It's April 4th, JLD here, and welcome to MSTR Today. And on this show, we talk about how there are no tariffs on Bitcoin. We talk about how Bitcoin is exactly what makes MSTR interesting and why that's important. We talk about MSTR's strategy and how Oregon and MSTR and Bitcoin are very similar for a lot of reasons. I have two amazing Michael Saylor video clips you're not going to want to miss. Also, this is not financial advice. Please comment below. Let me know where you're watching from, what you're thinking. Just comment for support. Thank you in advance. And let's dive on in. Okay, our first post today. Michael Saylor wants us to know there are no tariffs on Bitcoin. And look at this, 2 million views. Michael, keep spreading the good word. Bitcoin makes you the most interesting, says Michael Saylor. And this is the open interest / market cap. It's not even close. MSTR has 91.4%. The second closest is Tesla at 28, and then it drops off a cliff. These companies down here, by the way, not interesting. This company right here, very interesting. The open interest is sky high, and this is exactly what Michael Saylor wants. This is volatility. This is vitality. This is why volatility is a feature, not a bug. Keep on driving. Then we've got a good post by Jeff Walton, who just says higher to this post from Toshi. Need to update this for the True North Party. And I want to play this because it is pretty funny.
Okay, now everybody's got to do their thing. The short's got to be...
All right. Having a little fun on a Friday. Strategy Archive says, it sure is. And that's in response to Ryan saying, these tariffs are turning me into a dem. And Michael Saylor says, Bitcoin is on sale, Ryan. Michael Saylor is basically just saying, Ryan, focus. Follow one course until success. Stop thinking about anything else except Bitcoin, because why would you? Let's move on over to Saylor, who never stops teaching Bitcoin. This is posted by the Bitcoin therapist. Dave Portnoy had a dumb question. He said, if the point of Bitcoin is to be independent of the US dollar and non-regulated, why does it basically trade exactly like the US stock market nowadays? Market up, market down, Bitcoin down. And Michael Saylor gave the only response, in my opinion, that matters. Bitcoin trades like a risk asset short term because it's the most liquid, saleable 24/7 asset on earth. In times of panic, traders sell what they can, not what they want to. Doesn't mean it's correlated long term, just means it's always available. So on a Sunday morning, when China passes some massive tariff, Bitcoin is what's available. And Michael Saylor follows us up by saying, Bitcoin is the most volatile because it is the most useful. And again, volatility is vitality. We need to remember that. Chris says, strategy is spearheading the digital transformation of capital by converting its fiat into Bitcoin at scale. It's not a money glitch. It's a digital transformation of the capital markets. And this is Michael Saylor taking this dirty green fiat, putting it through the strategy refinery, and coming out on the other side with the apex predator, which is Bitcoin. Now, Jesse wants us to know that Oregon had a halving schedule. In the early 1840s, 640 acres of prime farmland were granted to each couple who arrived via the Oregon Trail. That's 1 square mile. In 1850, this was decreased to 320. In 1862, decreased to 160. The earlier a new adopter made the journey, the better off they were. But of course, the earlier you went, the more dangerous and challenging the journey was. The earliest migrants attempted the journey before the Oregon Trail was navigable by covered wagon. In 1839, 18 men set out from Illinois with a flag emblazoned with their motto, Oregon or the grave. Half of these men made it to the fertile land of Oregon, half died on the journey. Each year after, more attempted the journey. Such was the promise of a new life. The ample farmland in Oregon. The Great Migration of 1843 brought 1,000 new settlers via wagon train. Imagine how late those families felt. All their very best farmland was taken. Instead of 640 acres right next to the Willamette River, you might have to settle for an equally fertile plot 1 mile away. Of course, we can recognize that complaint is ridiculous. It's obvious to us that anyone in the first few thousand settlers of Oregon was extremely early. And guess what? That's effectively where we're at with Bitcoin. Everyone who arrives at the Bitcoin thesis feels late. Everyone wishes they had stacked sats earlier, but it's better to remember how many people are still behind us. Bitcoin isn't a small region like Oregon. Bitcoin is for everyone. It is a digital capital that could grow to be 50% of the world's asset value, according to Saylor. And yet, maybe 10 million people on Earth understand Bitcoin as an important savings vehicle. That's 0.1% of the world. So if you're arriving now, you're in the first 0.2% of genius adopters. That means 99.8% of the world is still behind you, and they're on their way. You may not feel like you're early to Oregon, but you are. Make the most of this opportunity, and your descendants will know you as the legend who changed everything for your family. And here's just a great depiction of Oregon and the full Oregon Trail. I'm actually probably going to go online after this and play a game with the Oregon Trail. That was such a classic. Loved that. But this is how I feel so early. And I'm so proud of all of you who are watching this consistently on a daily basis because you are so early. We are so early to Bitcoin, and we are even so much earlier to MSTR, who is building the Bitcoin Treasury Corporation company of the world, the Bitcoin Bank of the world. It's unbelievable times are ahead. And speaking of ahead, I have 2 great videos of Michael Saylor you don't want to miss as soon as we get back from thanking our sponsor. So check it out. I know we're all looking to stack more Bitcoin and MSTR, and to do that, we need more fiat. So let's chat about our sponsor, ShipStation. We all know the market can seem pretty chaotic at times, but if you're in charge of order fulfillment for your business, you already understand chaos. While we might not be able to help calm the chaos in the market, ShipStation is here to help when it comes to shipping and fulfillment. I've used ShipStation to easily automate shipping to customers around the globe. My favorite part about the platform, managing orders in one simple dashboard makes an otherwise massive task feel pretty darn simple. Plus, ShipStation not only integrates with the services and selling channels you already use, it's also the fastest, most affordable way to ship products to your customers. ShipStation hooks you up with discounts up to 88% off UPS, DHL Express, and USPS rates, and up to 90% off FedEx rates. Calm the chaos of order fulfillment with the shipping software that delivers. Switch to ShipStation today. Go to shipstation.com/MSTR to sign up for your free trial, or click the pinned comment below this video. That's shipstation.com/MSTR. And thank you for supporting our sponsors that allow myself and my team to continue to produce these daily videos for you for free. Now back to the show.
What I'd point out there is we should just have a very principled framework. And the observation would be, if you want to issue it, you have to actually register that you're a person, right? You can't have like an anonymous secret organization issue it because there's no one to sue. So an issuer should actually register the token. They should lay out the utility. There should be a standard data structure. It could be hosted by crypto exchanges or by the industry. And then when you issue the token, you say, this is what the token, this is who's issuing it, this is how many there are, these are the rules, this is the utility. And then the issuer ought to be civilly and criminally liable for fraud. Basically, do not lie, cheat, and steal, and you're responsible for the damage you do. That's just a biblical piece of guidance. And I think that you just let the free market determine that, because what will happen is if someone does defraud someone or steal, they're going to get sued, right? If you issue a token that results in the death of a person, you're going to have a criminal manslaughter charge against you, right? So there ought to be civil and criminal law, and there ought to be consequences for the issuer. But I don't think, and here's the point, I don't think you ought to have to take 4 years and ask permission from a governmental agency before you issue the token. If you think about the metaphor, you don't have to wait 4 years in order to post a tweet. You don't have to wait 4 years in order to create a product. You don't have to wait 4 years to take a trip or drive a car. Like if I told you you had to wait 4 years and spend $40 million and then spend $10 million a year on an insurance policy before you can drive a car because a government regulator wants to make sure that you don't hit some kid crossing the street, nothing would move. The truth of the matter is, if you hit a child crossing the street, you are criminally liable. And if you slam into someone's bakery, you're civilly liable. So there are consequences to driving a car But it seems utterly silly for the government to say that everyone has to apply for permission to say something or do something, whatever that might be, out of an abundance of caution to protect the consumer. So I think that you should just have consumer protection laws, just like every other product that is created in a free market.
Truth number 3, Bitcoin's an asset. One of those 21 million coins pops out. A lot of people just focus on the asset. They forget the ideology. They don't really notice the protocol. They think, do I have a Bitcoin or not? What kind of asset? It's the apex asset. It's better than cheese. It's better than palladium. It's better than gold. It's better than silver or copper or land or goats or cattle or lumber or pieces of paper that we call currency. Bitcoin is the asset, right? It is the asset based upon the ideology and the protocol that results in the greatest monetary premium in the world. Truth number 4, it's not just an asset. Bitcoin's a network. Bitcoin is not just a network, it's the network. It's the most powerful computer network in the world. It's a global network. Without the network, you can't have the asset. The asset is stored in the network. The network is a manifestation of the protocol. The network creates decentralization, that's true, but it also creates fault tolerance, mission criticality, redundancy, and all of the other technical, economic, and ethical qualities of the asset and of the movement. An ideology that spawned a protocol resulting in an asset that circulates on a network. That would be a simple articulation of what Bitcoin is. It's a truth. I would hazard to guess that the great majority of people watching the price of Bitcoin don't think about all 4 of those things.
And there you have it, another episode of MSTR Today. Here's my receipt from yesterday. I dove into MSTR at $294. I bought a 0.719 share of MSTR to do that on my quest to buy $210 of MSTR every trading day of 2025, revealing my entire portfolio every Sunday along the way. Now, these tariffs are just doing more of causing FUD, this fear, uncertainty, doubt. Yes, it's going to be a turbulent market coming up. There's going to be a lot of things that are happening. The market hates uncertainty, and that's exactly where we are. We are in the midst of uncertainty, but that is now. That is in the near-term future. If you are looking like I am, long-term, deep into the future, you know one thing. It's inevitable. Inevitable, and that's bull with a Bitcoin BULL. I've been seeing some awesome sales come through on my swag store for the inevitable swag. So if anybody is buying this, make sure to comment in the section below. And if you want to check out exactly what we have at the swag store, it's right in the show notes, because I believe the future of Bitcoin, of MSTR, is inevitable. And like Michael Saylor says, there is no second best.
What's the second best? There is no second best.